Listen up, team. Wick's voice cut through the murmur like a razor. These bastards think they're going to waltz into our backyard without a fight? Hell no. We're going to show these space vultures exactly why Earth isn't just another pebble they can kick around. His fist slammed down on the console, a determined glare set against the backdrop of space. Load up the ion cannons, recalibrate the defense grid, and someone get those damn fighters in the air. It's time to teach a lesson in territorial respect that they won't forget. Commander John Wick surveyed the sprawling command center nestled within the heart of Earth's lunar base. Monitors bathed the room in a harsh, pale light, casting long shadows across the faces of the crew who manned the consoles. Each station buzzed with a mixture of tension and routine, the daily dance of celestial vigilance that kept Earth safe. Lieutenant Kara, Wick's voice cut through the low hum of activity, firm and focused. Report on the sector scan. Kara adjusted her headset, tapping rapidly at her holographic display before turning to face him. All clear on the western quadrant, Commander. Eastern sensors are picking up solar flare activity, but nothing out of the weight. Her brow furrowed. She paused, double-checking her data. We've got something, sir. High-velocity signatures, coming in fast. Not ours. Wick straightened, his eyes narrowing. On screen. Everyone, eyes up, he commanded. The room fell silent, except for the soft clicking of keys and the intermittent beep of sensors recalibrating. A series of blips emerged on the main display, forming a tight formation that was unmistakably artificial and hostile. Identify. Wick's tone was calm, but carried an edge of steel. Unknown, but trajectory and speed suggest they're not just passing by. They're headed straight for us, Kara replied, her voice steady despite the rising stakes. Wick turned, pacing slightly as he processed the information. Options, he barked, not stopping to look at any officer in particular. We could go dark, try to avoid detection, suggested a young officer from the back. No, prepares us for nothing. We light them up, show them we've seen them, and we're not skittish, Wick countered immediately. His decision was met with quick nods, the crew accustomed to his direct style. Arm the ion cannons, charge the defensive shields, and bring the drone fleet to alert status. If they're making a house call, let's be ready to greet them properly, he instructed, his gaze fixed on the advancing blips. Kara relayed the commands, her voice echoing through the base's intercom system. Within moments, the lunar base transformed from a quiet observatory to a bristling stronghold, cannons pivoting silently in the cold lunar vacuum, targeting sensors locking on the incoming signatures. Commander, the objects have slowed. They're holding just outside our maximum engagement range, reported another officer, his voice tense. Wick stopped pacing and stared at the display. They're testing our response time. Clever. Open a channel. Let's not keep our guests waiting. The communications officer nodded, manipulating the controls to establish a channel. A tense minute passed. Then, the screen flickered to life, revealing not a human, but an alien face, smooth silvery skin, large, opaque eyes, and an unreadable expression. I am Sky, of the Galactic Empire, the creature's voice buzzed through the translator. You wield impressive defenses for an uncharted system. We seek dialogue. Wick stepped forward, his posture rigid with authority. This is Commander John Wick of the Earth Defense Force. You enter Earth space uninvited. State your intentions clearly. Sky's eyes flickered, absorbing Wick's firm stance. We did not realize this system was inhabited or claimed. We seek only to understand who governs here and by what authority you claim this territory. The lunar base, a beacon of human defiance, thrummed with the energy of an awakened giant as Commander John Wick prepared his crew for the imminent conflict. Earth's moon, once a silent observer in the void, was now a fortified stronghold at the forefront of an interstellar standoff. Kara, status report on the enemy's position, Wick commanded, his voice cutting through the controlled chaos of the command center. They're holding position, sir. It seems they're reassessing after your emphatic response, Kara replied, her eyes flicking between her screens and the commander. Good. Let's not give them time to ponder too long, Wick said sharply. Deploy the reconnaissance drones. I want eyes on their formation and any weak spots in their defenses. Within minutes, sleek, unmanned vessels slipped silently from the lunar surface, vanishing into the darkness towards the waiting fleet. Each drone streamed data back to the base, painting a clearer picture of the alien force, a mix of heavy cruisers and nimble fighters, likely banking on a quick surrender. Wick watched the feeds, his mind racing. They're set up for a blitzkrieg, not a siege. Let's turn that assumption back on them. Prepare the orbital cannons and ready the EMP mines. We'll give them a welcome they weren't expecting. As the crew executed his orders, Wick communicated with Earth's Defense HQ, updating them on the situation and his strategy. Approval was swift. Earth's global leaders trusted Wick's reputation and his results. Commander, drones report the enemy is adjusting formation, possibly preparing for an advance, one of the technicians reported. That's our cue, Wick responded. Fire the EMP mines now. Target their flanks, where the fighters cluster. Disrupt their cohesion. The base shuddered gently as the mines were launched into space. Moments later, bursts of electromagnetic energy rippled through the void, invisible but devastating. The alien fleet's outer vessels faltered, their systems overwhelmed by the surge. Now, full barrage, target the lead cruiser. Ion cannons, fire at will. Wick's command resonated with precision and urgency. The moon's surface lit up with the glow of ion cannons, each blast a pulse of raw power from Earth's hidden arsenal. The leading enemy cruiser took the brunt, its shields flaring under the onslaught before failing spectacularly. Cheers broke out across the command center, quickly stifled as Wick raised a hand. Stay sharp. This isn't over yet. Kara, bring the drone fleet back in. Let's mop up the stragglers. As the disabled ships drifted, their formations broken, Earth's drones swooped in, targeting critical systems and rendering the once threatening fleet impotent. The alien force, realizing their misstep, began a retreat, their movements sluggish and disjointed. Wick watched the fleet's withdrawal, a stern satisfaction settling over him. Track their retreat. I want continuous reports on their position until they're clear of our system. Turning to his crew, Wick's expression softened slightly, pride evident in his tone. Well done, everyone. You've just sent a clear message. Earth is not to be trifled with. The room erupted into a controlled celebration, the tension of the impending battle dissipating into relief and newfound confidence. Kara approached Wick, a smile breaking through her usual composure. Commander, should we expect a round two? Back at the Lunar Command Center, after their triumphant defense, Commander John Wick and his team faced the reality of their situation. The initial victory was significant. Keep the defense grid at full capacity, Wick ordered, his eyes scanning the latest satellite feeds. This fight might have just been the opening act. Lieutenant Kara nodded, her fingers flying over the control panel. I've put all squadrons on high alert, and the repair crews are patching up the minor damages from the skirmish. Wick's gaze didn't waver from the monitors. What's the status on the EMP mine reserves? We used up about 30% of our stockpile. Production is ramping up to replenish within the next 24 hours, replied Kara, checking the inventory logs. Wick turned, addressing the room with a voice that carried both command and reassurance. We've shown that we can hit them hard and hit them where it hurts. Now, we need to prepare for their countermove. They underestimated us once. They won't make that mistake again. As the crew absorbed his words, an alert chimed through the command center. Incoming transmission, Commander. It's from the Galactic Council, a communications officer announced. On screen, Wick commanded, stepping forward as the large monitor flickered to life, revealing a figure with a smooth, silver complexion and authoritative eyes, a high-ranking official of the Galactic Empire. Commander Wick, I am Counselor Tyron. Your actions have not gone unnoticed. We request a parley to discuss terms and prevent further unnecessary conflict, the counselor stated, his tone neutral yet edged with an undercurrent of respect. Wick considered the offer, his mind weighing the tactical advantages. Counselor, Earth respects strength and seeks peace. We agree to a parley. But know this, any aggression during this time will be met with double the force. Agreed, Commander. We too prefer diplomacy over destruction. We will send coordinates for a neutral meeting location, Tyrion responded before the transmission ended. Turning to face his team, Wick's expression was one of calculated determination. Kara, prepare a diplomatic detail. I'll lead the delegation myself. It's time we negotiate from a position of strength. Yes, sir. I'll coordinate with the security teams and get our top negotiators on board, Kara replied, her efficiency a comforting constant in the flux of galactic tension. As preparations for the parley went underway, Wick took a moment for himself, staring out at the Earth, shining in the void. It was a beautiful, fragile oasis, and he was determined to keep its skies free from the shadow of oppression. The neutral zone, a space station orbiting a deserted moon in the Ceres sector, was a cold beacon of metal and diplomacy as Commander John Wick and his delegation docked. The Galactic Empire's banners fluttered alongside Earth's flags, a temporary truce manifest in the shared corridors of the station. As Wick led his team through the stark utilitarian halls, he prepared for the diplomatic dance that would determine Earth's future sovereignty. His team, a mix of military tacticians and the finest diplomats Earth could offer, followed his lead, their expressions a mix of determination and cautious optimism. In the conference room, the air was thick with the tension of impending negotiations. The Galactic Empire's representatives, led by Counselor Tyrion, were already seated, their alien features schooled into masks of diplomatic neutrality. Commander Wick, Tyrion greeted, his voice smooth as he stood. We appreciate Earth's willingness to engage in dialogue. Let us hope today marks the beginning of a peaceful coexistence. Wick nodded, taking his seat at the head of the table. Counselor, Earth values its independence as much as the Empire cherishes its traditions. We're here to ensure that our sovereignty is respected, not just today, but for all time. The negotiations unfolded, with proposals and counter-proposals exchanged under the watchful eyes of both parties. Earth's diplomats presented their case with compelling clarity, arguing for the formal recognition of Earth's autonomous status and an official demarcation of its space boundaries. Tyrion listened, his silvery eyes flickering as he considered the implications. Your terms are unconventional, he finally said. The Galactic Empire has not encountered such a staunch defense of sovereignty in many cycles. Wick leaned forward, his gaze steady. Perhaps it's time the Empire considers a new approach. We are not seeking conflict, but make no mistake, Counselor, we will defend our home. Hours passed as the negotiations continued, with each side meticulously dissecting clauses and subclauses. Finally, as the station's artificial night began to fall, a breakthrough came. Tyrion, perhaps recognizing the futility of pressing an aggressive campaign against a determined Earth, conceded to the main terms of what would be known as the Orion pact. We agree to your terms, Commander Wick, Tyrion declared, his voice resonant in the now silent room. The Galactic Empire will formally recognize Earth's sovereignty and will retract all claims to your system. This will be ratified by the Imperial Council. Wick nodded, a hint of a smile tugging at his lips as he extended his hand. And Earth will engage in peaceful trade and cultural exchanges. As the delegates from both sides signed the Orion Pact, flashes from media cams immortalized the moment. It was more than a treaty. It was a testament to Earth's emergence as a recognized power in the galaxy. The return journey to Earth was quiet, reflective. Commander John Wick, gazing through the viewport at the stars streaking past, contemplated the new era that lay ahead. The Orion Pact had been signed, Earth's sovereignty acknowledged by the Galactic Empire and its allies. But Wick knew the true challenge was just beginning. As the Earth came into view, a blue and green gem cradled in the black embrace of space, Wick felt a surge of pride. They had defended their home, not with conquest, but with cunning and diplomacy. Yet, this victory was not just his, but belonged to the countless men and women who had stood ready to defend their world. Upon landing, Wick was greeted not just as a commander, but as a hero of Earth. Yet, he wore his accolades lightly, knowing the weight of responsibility that still rested on his shoulders. Commander, the President wants to debrief immediately. She's planning a global address to discuss the implications of the Orion Pact, Lieutenant Kara informed him as they disembarked. Set it up, Wick responded, stepping onto the tarmac, where military salutes and media cameras awaited. The world was eager to celebrate, but Wick was already focused on the future. In the debriefing room, filled with military brass and political leaders, Wick laid out the next steps. The pact is just a piece of paper unless we enforce it. We need to strengthen our space defense network, continue developing our technology, and most importantly, ensure our readiness for any potential threats. The President nodded, her expression solemn. Commander Wick, your leadership has ushered us into a new age. Earth will follow your guidance. We'll begin by setting up a task force to oversee the implementation of the Orion Pact and bolster our defenses. As plans were set into motion, Wick found himself at the newly established Galactic Unity Forum, a platform for Earth to engage with other civilizations as an equal. Here, Earth's diplomats and scientists shared innovations and strategies. We are not just protecting Earth. We're setting a precedent for how emerging civilizations can interact with the galaxy at large, Wick explained to the assembly, his voice resonant, commanding the room. But it wasn't all smooth sailing. Challenges arose, from piracy on trade routes to disputes at the borders of the solar system, testing Earth's resolve and the strength of the Orion Pact. Each incident was handled with a blend of diplomatic finesse and, when necessary, military strength, cementing Earth's reputation as a formidable power. Months turned into years, and Earth's place in the galactic community solidified. Wick, now a respected figure beyond just military circles, continued to advocate for Earth's interests, always vigilant, always prepared. In his office, overlooking the training grounds where the next generation of Earth's defenders were being prepared, Wick allowed himself a rare moment of contentment. The Earth outside was peaceful, its people secure in their place in the universe, thriving under the protection of the very pact he had helped forge. Commander Wick? Kara's voice interrupted his thoughts. Yes, Lieutenant? Sir, there's a new mission on the horizon. It seems we have another opportunity to strengthen our alliances. The Martian colonies are requesting our assistance.